Folks, we're with Nancy Sidebotham, who is a longtime Oaklander and running for mayor of Oakland for the first time.
Yes.
Nancy, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Readers of my blog remember a now famous blog post that you wrote. But let's start fresh, if you will. This is your platform. Tell my viewers who you are and why you're running for mayor of Oakland.
My name is Nancy Sidebotham, and I'm running for mayor because the people of Oakland, the residents of Oakland, need someone that they can turn to that'll be fighting their battles, not battles of developers and individuals who pay their way into getting people elected and support a machine-type politics that has devastated Oakland over the years. We are in limbo. We have not moved forward. We don't have jobs. We have crime. We have no economic development in the city. And what do we have but more housing being built, and we have nothing that's sustainable for the community in which to shop and in which to hire people so that we have viability.
What was your motivation? What was the waha moment where you just said, doggone it, I'm going to run. I'm tired of this.
I've been thinking about this for the last year, and I think I started thinking about it after we started the recall on Jean Kwan. And having watched what she's done with Occupy, having watched what she's done with devastating the police department, even though she claims she's trying to bring the police department back, she's never been a supporter of the police department, and she is one of the chief engineers on the demise of the police department and community policing. These are the things that made me decide that we need somebody with a voice, somebody that's going to hold all the candidates' feet to the fire. And I believe that I'm that person. I think that questions that are asked, statements that are made, I think that I can be the person that will catch them in the lies and the propaganda that they're putting out there to try to sell themselves as somebody that's viable to run this city. I think we need to start looking at the people that we attempt to elect and ask the hard questions is, what are you going to do for us, city of Oakland as a whole? Not for my neighborhood, not for the stop sign that I needed yesterday, but what are you going to do for the citizens of Oakland that's going to relate to all of Oakland and not just piecemeal it out like we've been doing for the last 30 years?
Do you have a particular platform that you're pushing?
I'm pushing the platform that we need public safety taken care of, but in reality what we need are jobs. Economic development in Oakland will bring public safety under control to a degree that public safety and crime can be brought under control, because it's an epidemic that is in crisis, not just in Oakland, in the state, in the country, but around the world. Jobs are scarce because we are in a new wave where it's now technology that's running most of the system, and manufacturing jobs are going to other countries where the labor is cheaper, and they don't care how they deal with people. And until we bring manufacturing jobs back to America and allow the youth to know that they don't have to go to college, because most of them are not going to go to college because they don't have the will or the want to go to college, but they want to work with their hands, they want to do artistic work, they want to be able to build cars and do things that manufacturing businesses made this country great by. Those are the things that we need to start looking at, and we need to start locally with that, because crime is not going to go away until you give somebody an option to be able to do something with their lives, so that they can get the toys that the advertising world continues to push on the media, and these kids seem to think they need in order to be somebody.
Now, you said in my blog post you were a supporter of Joe Tuman and then Bill Bolton.
Right.
Okay. What happened with all of it?
Well,
it seemed like you were raison d'etre for unless I wrote it the wrong way.
Well, yes, I was a supporter of Joe Tuman in the last mayoral race. When I looked at all the candidates, he was the most viable, made the most sense, and he was coming from the community standpoint. At that point in time, there was nobody else backing him other than Joe Tuman and the community. This year, he asked me if I would come on board and back his campaign and work with him, and I said I was considering running for mayor. And I said, you and I need to talk, and he never returned the phone call. And the more I thought about it, I'm going, if this is where this is going, and he can't return a phone call, and we can't sit down and have a conversation, then I need to take what's in my heart and in my mind and put it out there where I can do the most good. I look at the candidates and who their backers are and where their money's coming from, and you have to start asking, are viable candidates the ones that have the most endorsements and the most money given by a few people? Because we have 400,000 people in the city of Oakland. Joe Tillman just put out that he made $155,000 from 475 people. Now you ask yourself who gave him that money.
Are you saying that you question the donor base?
I'm not. I'm questioning 475 people when you have 400,000 people in this city. You have to realize that you need to look at who the people are that money is coming from. How is that going to guarantee that all of Oakland is going to get the support and the responsibility that the mayor is supposed to bring to this city to deal with all of us? Or is it going to continue to be a few getting the support while the rest of us continue to fight an uphill battle and lose our homes? Our kids aren't getting a proper education. I mean, there's any number of things that are going on in this city because Oakland is not looked at as a whole. And again, I have to say, this is not just Oakland. This is every city in America. So I'm not just picking out Oakland. We're the, in a spot. Right. So no, I would back Joe Tillman. I don't have a problem with that. I like Joe Tillman. However, I have a problem with who he's aligned himself with, and he is no longer a person from the community. He is a person
Who
that...
has he aligned himself with?
He has Don Parada listed on his list. The people that are involved with Make Oakland Better have a hidden agenda. And I really have a problem when I'm looking at all this. I mean, look, everybody's pushing public safety. Public safety is a key crisis in this town, and everybody's pushing fear as the way to get people to hire patrols, buy cameras that are outrageously expensive because somebody wants to make $1 off this, when it takes a neighborhood to keep yourself safe. It doesn't take a patrol service to drive at one block and then your house is broken into. By the time they get back, the thieves are gone, because it only takes 5 minutes to rip a house off with 2 or 3 guys working it.
And you were involved with the effort to recall Gene Corn.
Yes, I was.
Tell us about that, because that was a key factor, I think, in why you eventually...
Yes, one of the reasons that I thought of running. And I got involved. I was asked to sign a petition that Gene Hazard was originally passing around. And I gladly signed it because things were not going well at that time in Oakland. And with that, unfortunately, and this is what I've said to a lot of people, boys don't know how to play in sandboxes. And they take their toys home and they throw them up in the air. And instead of getting together and working as a team, egos got in the way. And then a split happened off of that. And that group, egos got in the way, and then they split off. And I finally said, look, the only way you can do a recall on Gene Corn or anything, you can't stand on the street corner and do this. You have to go door to door. You got to go buy the precinct list for $145 or $150 and go door to door and get the signatures from the registered voters. And you would have had those signatures in a month. But no, everybody else had ideas of hiring lawyers, of which I understand $20,000 was spent by one group. And I just said, I can't do this. I said, I just don't want to play with boys that can't play in sandboxes. And that was it.
So, if crime is not the problem in Oakland, let me ask rhetorically, what is the problem?
Jobs, economic development. What has Oakland brought in that other cities have stolen from and have made it? Emeryville was no place. It was a manufacturing steel ironworks, and look at what they've done. Walnut Creek was a sleepy little town. Look at what they've done. San Jose was vegetables. You went down there for your fruit stands. You went down there for the vegetable markets. That's where you went to get, the good wine. Charles can't remember, St. Charles, can't remember the wine, but there was a couple of wineries down there. And then all of a sudden, guess what the biggest city is in the Bay Area besides San Francisco? San Jose now.
Yeah.
What happened to Oakland? Oakland's disappeared off the map when it comes to economic development. All the people that work in Oakland went to other cities. They learned what not to do in Oakland. They learned what was wrong, and they took their ideas to other cities and they built it up, and those cities are prospering. And yet Oakland, who is one of the oldest cities where after the San Francisco earthquake, everybody moved to Oakland, people have made millions off working in Oakland, building a business in Oakland, the train system, the rail system that they had, that because the cars came in, the Chevrolet plant. I mean, all these things held Oakland and made Oakland sustainable. And people came to Oakland to make their money, and then they took their money and went to New York City, they went other places, and Oakland has been like a feeding ground to a few people while the city continues to suffer over the years. I mean, Eastmont Mall used to be a viable mall, but because crime at that time was happening, because Oakland has always been a city that has been where other cities surrounding Oakland have dumped on Oakland for low-income housing. They don't take their fair share. San Leandro had to be threatened with withdrawal of federal funds before they built their first low-income housing in San Leandro. Everybody dumped in Oakland. And now we have all these kids, all these young males and females that have no outlet for jobs, for money, and yet Pleasanton has the highest sales tax base in Alameda County.
Right.
But they don't have low-income housing. Yes, they build senior housing. That qualifies as low-income housing. However, and you can build all the senior housing you want. However, that's not who's getting hurt in all of this. And the crime that's happening in Oakland is because we need an economy that is going to help all these students that are getting out of school. They have nowhere to turn. They aren't being taught shop programs. They took those out of the school. We see the programs on television on Channel 2 where they go in and they sing. What's the
Glee?
No, not Glee, but where I'm going to go in and where you have the three judges.
American Idol?
American Idol. And they see this, and they have dreams to do this, but who's teaching them how to read music? Who's teaching them how to play a guitar or how to play a piano, or giving them other than what they're learning in the churches, which is where a lot of these young people are coming from? I mean, everybody has a wish to be solvent, to be successful, but when you don't have an outlet to get there, and you're promised, oh yes, go to college and you'll have a job. How many college students are graduating that don't have jobs? Because there are no jobs out there, and not everybody's going to work in the electronic field, because you can only hire just so many people in that. So, I mean, that's the first thing that needs to be looked at. If you can solve the economics, it's a round robin thing. Businesses don't want to come to Oakland because crime is out of control. We've lost Clorox because of crime. We've lost a lot of businesses because of crime. They've gone to San Ramon, to Danville, and those areas. Why? Well, we're supposed to be the transportation and economic hub of the Bay Area. I mean, San Francisco shut down their port, and Oakland took it up and became a viable port. Except that we've had problems over the years with the port. So, if you want to get rid of crime, you need to bring jobs. If you want to bring jobs, you need to get rid of crime. Businesses aren't going to come, so it's a round robin thing. So it's something that has to be looked at as a whole and not as piecemeal. Public safety is important. Yes, we need police officers, but you're not going to get public safety under control until you bring jobs to an economy that's growing in the city of Oakland.
Now, there are those, I have to ask this question because of fairness,
Sure.
but first of all, do we need more cops given what you said? And if we do, how do we pay for them?
You know something? We waste a lot of money in this town. And one of the things that I've asked for is an outside audit of all of Oakland's books, because money has come into the city and yet we keep spending it on stuff, and yet at the same time we're saying there's no money.
You say outside audit. We have a city auditor.
A city auditor is equipped to do audits of individual packaging in individual departments. This has to be like pollution, whatever the big auditing firms that are used to going
Deloitte
on-
and Touche.
Deloitte and Touche, that are used to doing major audits of cities. Hercules had a recent audit, and that found out a lot of the illegal stuff that were going on in Hercules.
Right.
And the small little town down near San Jose where people went to jail. Oakland is in that position. You can, and until that audit is done, we're never going to know what Oakland really has. Every time you turn around, everybody's asking you for money. Measure Y, the fire assessment district, because that's something that's bringing dollars into the city, but are you getting something in return? No. And that's the problem. Measure Y pays $4 million to the fire department. They keep just 2 firehouses open with that money. They're supposed to be doing a mentoring program. They haven't started it yet. And how many years have we had Measure Y? Okay? These are the things people need to start asking. The fire assessment district. There's never been an audit of the fire assessment district. Yes, Courtney did an audit. And the audit she did was not allowed to come out until after the vote was taken. The city sat on that because they knew that it was going to hurt them, because they thought they had it guaranteed that.
When you said after the vote was taken, what vote for viewers?
The November vote to pass or fail by 2/3 the fire assessment district that was taken in November of
So
all
you're
the
saying
people in
the
the
city
hills.
deliberately withheld a report that would have been negative to the assessment district, so they would not influence a negative vote?
Yes. I mean,
And that year was?
this last year, 2013, this last November. I mean, you don't sit there, if you want to be honest, and they keep talking about transparency, and I hate that word because everybody puts it in their mouth and they are not transparent. But if you want to talk about transparency, then you put it all on the table and the resident, make the decision as to what you want out of this. You don't let somebody else. There are 6 people on the council making decisions for 400,000 people in this city. You need to start asking whether they have the knowledge and ability to make those decisions for all of us. Or who are they voting for? Because if you look at how the game is played, it's the people with the most clout or have the most pressure who make promises that they're going to support them in the next election, or they're going to be there for them, whatever it is they need, or they're going to be guaranteed a job if they lose the election. Those are the people you need to start looking at. You need to start asking yourself is who represents you and why.
As far as the police question.
Oh, going back to the police department. We need a force in the city. Yes, 900, fine. Remember, we have 400,000 officers. We need a traffic division.
400,000.
400,000 citizens.
Sure.
We have roughly right now they saying 600 and something, but I can almost guarantee you it's less than 600. But they're not telling you that. But we need a traffic
You're
division.
saying we're being lied to regarding the police
Yes.
count?
Yes.
On what basis? That's a powerful statement.
It's a powerful statement because it's true, and it's based on fear. They don't want people to know the truth.
No, in other words, the police department and the city administrator do not want the citizens of Oakland to know we actually have more police than they say we need.
We have less police.
Excuse me,
we have less police than what they say we have.
we have less police than what they say we have. So you're saying
Remember,
that because of attrition and everything else, we are down. We have
You're down.
fewer?
Yes.
Okay.
You're down.
Okay.
People are out on medical leave. We have police that have retired. Last year there were 171 officers
Because
who
it came
were
out the
retired.
other way.
I'm sorry.
It's like,
I apologize.
It came out the reverse. That's why I was asking.
I apologize for that. We have less officers than what they're actually putting out there.
Wow. By how much?
No one has that actual count.
Okay.
But my guess is in the 500s. And people, this year there's going to be officers retiring. And how many academies have we had? And how many graduates are still police officers out of those academies? Very few.
So what are you going to do to change all that, Nancy?
The community,
As mayor.
the community needs to come to work together. You need someone that's a leader, not someone that's going to tell you how you should do it, but work with you and show you and bring in the authority that can be there for you, that can be there with us as a team. We call it community policing, but it should be community employees. It should be everybody working together. There's a report that came out that Mr. Wasserman was doing for the police department, and in there he mentioned
Wasserman is, for the
Wasserman
viewers.
is not a friend. He's a gentleman that was hired by the mayor and the city administrator to help the department get them in a position where they can work with the community and make them stronger in how they fight crime and how they bring police services to the city of Oakland. And he recently let a report out that was 30 some odd pages. And in that report, he brought in all the departments. He brought in the nonprofits that are now working with the police department. He brought in the neighborhood services coordinators. He's trying to bring back community policing to Oakland, because when community policing was here back in the 90s, it worked. Crime was down because the community knew how to work together. And that's what we need to start doing. Public safety, public works, economic development, all of us need to be on the same field at the same time, working together, because it's going to take a community, everybody, to make the solutions come around that we can start being a viable community. I think I said community 50 times.
How are we going to retain our sports teams, the Raiders, the A's, and the Warriors? What's your position on the stadium issue?
I think one, we need a new stadium. It is obsolete. I think it should be built back in the same spot. I think building it someplace else. We're talking about the earth warming up. We're talking about the waters rising, the seas rising and stuff. And I said, and you need to start looking at where you're positioning not just the sports arenas, but any development down in Jacqueline or the port area. That being said, I think that Oakland is centralized for the sports teams. I think that it's that the A's and the Raiders are. We were ecstatic when they got here. Do we like the deal that was made that the Raiders cut? Is it costing us millions of dollars? No, but that was working with Al Davis at the time, and you had to do what you had to do in order to get the team back here. But I think that if Mr. Wolf understands that
the A's, right?
He's the owners of the A, one of the owners of the A's. If he understands that the community's behind this and supports him, that I think that the A's will stay here. Now that the judicial judges have taken a position that the A's can't go to San Jose because of being the territory of the Giants or the Major League. But they also tried to take it to court too. And I think they lost it in court.
Well, yeah, that's another long discussion. They were never going to win that battle, but go ahead.
But I'm just saying, so with all of that, I think that we need to show, the community needs to show that A's are viable, that brings notoriety to Oakland, and is going to continue to keep us on the map as a place where people want to come. I have clients that I do, and I've done taxes for years, that will not come to Oakland to do their taxes because they're afraid of Oakland. We have to get over that fear factor. We have to make people believe that Oakland is a safe place to come to. And the only way to do that is to bring business back to Oakland. Keep the teams here. The teams are a big part of what happens in Oakland. The Warriors need to come back to Oakland. They don't need to go to San Francisco. And I'm hoping that vote that happens with the height issues over in San Francisco, that it brings it down and they're forced to come back here. I said, because they've been here for so many years, and even though they're called the Golden State Warriors, they're really the Oakland Warriors, and they need to come back here and be part of.
How do we get them to change their name?
I think that, again,
I want the Oakland Warriors.
I would too, but I think that's something that that's be put to a vote. The Warriors should put a petition out there and ask people what they feel about changing the name. If they stay in Oakland, I think that maybe they might consider it. The Oakland Golden State Warriors.
No, just put the Oakland Warriors. Forget all that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. But no, but the teams are viable for keeping Oakland on the map.
If the New Jersey Nets can move to Brooklyn and be the Brooklyn Nets, how come the Golden State Warriors can't be the Oakland Warriors?
I don't think anybody's ever brought it up, and I think it's something to be discussed. I know I support them. You know, I support all three teams. I am not a major fan where I go to games and stuff. I enjoy it when I do go to games, but my support has always been there. I've always been a cheerleader for the Raiders, the A's, and the Warriors because they are our team.
Is there any, in closing, anything that you want to know, that viewers to know about your candidacy that we haven't talked about?
Not really. I mean, other than what you see is what you get. I am not a person that minces words. I'm a hard worker. I'm out in the community. There is very little in the city of Oakland that I have not been involved with at one time or another. I mean, Oakland is a unique, I mean, it's got 400,000 people. What does that say about us? We are a ghost town. We have breathing individuals in this town.
Right.
And we need people that are going to represent us, that care about us as individuals, and not the dollars that some of us can pay through taxes and stuff to get programs or pay for things that we're already paying for through our taxes, such as the potholes. I mean, there's a council person right now that's trying to raise money, and one of the claims that this particular council person is asking for is money to fill potholes.
Who's that?
Rebecca Cap.
Okay.
And on top of that, we're already paying for potholes. Why is she asking for more money to pay for potholes? I mean, you know, people need to start asking. When a dollar is asked for, you ask where it's going and how it's going to get spent. And that's part of the problem, is we open our pocketbooks and we pay because we love puppies and kittens, or we love children, or we are put into a fear factor that, you know, if you don't pay us, crime's going to take over. Well, it already has. And guess what? We're paying and we're not getting anything. And I'm asking you, I don't care whether you like me. I don't care whether you agree with me. All I'm asking for is get involved and get to know who the players are. Without that, we won't have a city.
How do people contact you? How do they support your campaign?
Right now, I am building that up. I've announced that I'm running. I am building my campaign to be, anybody that wants to reach me can reach me at my email, nannystu, NANNYSTU @packbell.net. Want to call me? I'll be glad to talk with you. My number is 510-635-2678, and I'm always available. And I will have a website in the very near future. And I'm on Facebook, building it, and I'm going to get some help on all the other play stations that I need to be on.
And folks, we are at the Lakeshore Cafe on 3257 Lakeshore. And I think this is your first time here, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I'm having my usual Lakeshore omelet. And there's the other food. Hey, Nancy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Zinni, for inviting me and allowing me to take some of your time up.
No problem.